I'm killing my weed, I'm filling my weed. Up in my paper, no spilling my weed. Got the Ziploc and I'm sealing my weed. If you confront it, I'm billing my weed. So thrilling my weed, drug dealing my weed. I had a homie that's stealing my weed. It gets you high to the ceiling my weed. Oh, what a wonderful feeling my weed. When I get down, it's so healing my weed. I see the cops are concealing my weed. Buds are so big, I'm just peeling my weed. If it's so good and fulfilling my weed. Never get caught over billing my weed. Listen to me, I'm instilling my weed. My shit's like 1 in a million my weed. You smoke it once and be chilling my weed. And I don't like blunts, I like papers. And I don't be doing no favors. And I like my weed different flavors. And I got no time for you haters. And I don't be puffing no vapors. And I like my weed by the acres. And I can't be friends with no traders. And I make it disappear like erasers. And I got so high like elevators. And I even sell weed to the skaters. And I need my money now, no laters. And I got weed, but do I got takers. And I keep it on the low, cause my neighbors. And I serve it up quick like some waiters. And I teach you how to smoke, I'm a trainer. And I like weed, that's a no-brainer. I'm breaking my weed, no shaking my weed. The police will never be taking my weed. Put it in food, yeah, I'm baking my weed. It's green and I'm never mistaking my weed. I know it's good, ain't no faking my weed. Get it from Cali, no making my weed. No money kicked in, no staking my weed. I got that grass, ain't no snakes in my weed. I don't know why you be hating my weed. Never be off on my weight in my weed. I need that cash, no donating my weed. People is always inflating my weed. Never have trouble locating my weed. How much to buy, you debating my weed. And you should be circulating my weed. I smoke on my weed, I choke on my weed. Everyone knows I don't joke on my weed. You better never put coke on my weed. Bet you thought you could stay woke on my weed. Shit is so good you go broke on my weed. Straight to the head, ain't no scope on my weed. Thought you was having a stroke on my weed. Maybe I shouldn't have spoke on my weed. White boys, they like to get stoked on my weed. Don't start no fights unprovoked on my weed. Lyrics like rain, you get soaked on my weed. Look in your eyes, you so doped on my weed. Life hasn't gone like you hoped on my weed. Maybe you need one more toke on my weed. You want a slippery slope on my weed. I think you need to say no to my weed. No dabbing my weed, just grabbing my weed. You got a pain, no tabbing my weed. I never get sick of having my weed. You like to smoke in the cab on my weed. I never act like a crab on my weed. Smoke one and it's like a rap on my weed. Smoking and choking the crap on my weed. Bag it and then start to packing my weed. You like to smoke and just laugh on my weed. 10 minutes later you nap on my weed. Snitches they trying to track on my weed. I ain't a spy and attack on my weed. Feel like computers they hack on my weed. If I was a football they tackle my weed. I see them buns and I'm snapping my weed. You like to say that I'm trapping my weed. And I don't like blunts, I like papers. And I don't be doing no favors. And I like my weed different flavors. And I got no time for you haters. And I don't be puffing no vapors. And I like my weed by the acres. And I can't be friends with no traders. And I make it disappear like erasers. And I got so high like elevators. And I even sell weed to the skaters. And I need my money now, no laters. And I got weed, but do I got takers. And I keep it on the low, cause my neighbors. And I serve it up quick like some waiters. And I teach you how to smoke, I'm a trainer. And I like weed, that's a no-brainer. I'm high on my weed to the sky on my weed. You like my song, hi on my weed. Acting like you about to die on my weed. Maybe you need one more try on my weed. I get so high I could fly on my weed. You got no paper, say bye to my weed. Always stacked up, never dry on my weed. Haters, they talking, they spy on my weed. That's why I had to go hide on my weed. Taking a trip to the shy on my weed. I never have to go lie on my weed. That's cause I always take pride in my weed. Dipping and dodging and diving my weed. Sometimes I need to take 5 on my weed. If you didn't know, I would die for my weed.